Hello students, let's read this question. Is the relationship between the number of meters and the number of centimeters a linear relationship? Okay, so let's highlight important information. And what they want to know is the relationship for the number of meters and number of centimeters. And they want to find out if it's linear. And with the circle underline, I'm going to box the question here. And I need to know if the relationship between the number of meters and the number of centimeters is a linear relationship. So let's review what linear is. Linear means that when we have the change on the x-axis and on the y-axis, that change repeat all over the graph. Okay, so this is what it means. For example, when we check from 0 to 100, can you please tell me how many centimeters are there between 0 and 100? Of course, 100. And I'm going to analyze this point because this point lies on the 100. And I'm going to check towards the y. How many units are there between 0 and 1? And the answer is 1 unit. Great. Now I'm going to check another point. What is the difference between 100 and 200? And the answer is 100 centimeters. Great. Now I want you to tell me if I'm going to go towards the y, now I'm going to land here. Between 1 and 2, what is the difference? The difference is the same one. Again, the difference is 1. And again is 1. And the distance here is 100. And the distance between one point and the next point on the x-axis is 100. So you see, the same amount that we are changing on the x-axis, we are changing it on the y-axis. And that's why this graph looks like just one connected straight line. So this is an example of linear. This is definitely a linear relationship. I'm going to show you how non-linear can look like for a relationship between centimeters and meters. Okay, this black line is linear. I just copy the graph on the left side. But what I want to do with you is an example for non-linear. And I'm going to write here. Let me put it in red because I'm going to do a non-linear relationship between the number of centimeters in meters in red. Non-linear. So let's say, guys, that I want a difference of 100 units and 1 unit here. Just like I did on the left side, on the graph on the left side. So then that would be this distance here. You see, guys? Because this point reads 100 and this point reads 1. And so far this segment is linear. And to be linear, the whole graph should continue the same pattern. So then it will be a straight line like the one on the left side. But if I break the pattern, and if, for example, I don't change 100 units, now on the x-axis I'm gonna change, this is 100 and this is 200. Okay, so all this together is 100 to 200, that makes 100. And from 200 to 300, that makes another 200, another 100. So in total, this is 200. Now you see, this graph didn't change 100 units. Now it changed 200 units on the x-axis. And on the y-axis, it changed nothing. In all this segment here, I'm still on the number 1. So the change on the x-axis is 200, but the change on the y-axis is 0. And now it doesn't look like a straight line anymore. It looks like a straight, but then it goes towards the right. So this relationship here that we have in red is non-linear. Great. Now we're going to analyze each of the choices. So I'm going to start with the first sentence. And here says, the graph is non-linear. The question is the relationship linear? Choice A says it's non-linear. This is incorrect. because we can tell our relationship, that is the one that is given, is on the left side. And this is the example on the right. We just did it to demonstrate what nonlinear is. So we cannot take choice A. Now let's look at choice B. Choice B first says, yes, the rate of change is constant. And that is right. Yes, because I can see this graph looks like a straight line that is increasing always the same on the x-axis and on the y-axis. So I'm going to mark this as correct. Now I'm going to check the second section of the question. And it says, as the number of centimeters increases by 100, and I'm going to check that on my points. That's true. From 0 to 100, that's 100. From 0 to 200, that's 100. This is correct. The number of meters increases by 1. And now for the number of meters, I'm going to highlight now this in orange. The number of meters increase by 1. And I'm going to highlight this in orange right here. And then that is correct, because look, these are our points or data points. This, and this is another data point. I highlighted the data points in blue. And that is true. Look, from this point to this point, what's the difference? 1. From this point to this point, 1. From this point to this point, that's 1. And from here to here, from 200 to 300, the difference is 100. From 300 to 400, the difference is 100. On the next point right here, from 400 to 500, the difference is 100. And then on this point right here, from 4 to 5, the difference is 1 point. Great. So this section also works. So looks like we found our answer, but we have to put a question mark and we have to keep checking the others. Okay, now I'm going to read D. It says, yes, the yes implies that it's really linear. The rate of change is constant. Okay, so they're right on this statement. Now let's check the next one. As the number of centimeters increased by 50, let's read this. The number of meters increases by 1. Let's check. And look, guys, when the number of meters increases by 1, will be this. We already know it's 100, it's not 50. To be 50, then it will be here. So the line will be more straight, right? So no, this is not working. The second part didn't work. Okay, so only V is working. Now let's look at D. And for D, it says, yes, the rate of change is constant. Well, that part is okay. As the number of centimeters increases by 1, the number of meters increases by 100. Let's look at that. Centimeters, where do we have the centimeters? On the x-axis or on the y-axis? It's on the x-axis. Okay, so let's look at the x-axis. Do they increase by 1? Look. No, they increase by 100. They increase by 100, not by 1. So I'm going to say this statement is not right. And then they said that the number of meters increases by 100. Hey, I'm going to come here to my y-axis where it reads number of meters. They don't increase by 100. They increase by ones. Look, right here. So this section is incorrect. So our answer is definitely letter B. This is our very correct answer. Awesome, thank you.